Bible, no? Where Jesus says, I will make you fishers of men. No? So just before that, these fishermen have been trying to catch fish the whole day, whole night. They didn't catch any fish. So Jesus tells them, put the net on this side and you will get fish. So when they got the fish, he didn't tell, come and join me, I will make you better fishermen. Huh? I will teach you how to be better fishermen. He didn't tell like that. He said, I will make you fishers of men. So when we go out into the world following after Jesus, it is not to be only doctors. Huh? So we are not only doctors. We are many things. All of us are multi-dimensional, no? And God will make us to be a blessing to people, not necessarily just doctors, nurses, whatever. So this is our story of last 30 years. So any guess where that place is? I think you both are from Northeast, huh? From Meghalaya, both of you. Okay, so this is Arunachal Pradesh. Arunachal Pradesh, huh? How many of you know that there is a state called Arunachal Pradesh? So it has got the lowest density of population in India. So this is in 2004 we visited there. Now the first mission hospital in the state of Arunachal Pradesh is going to be constructed. So we are helping to start the hospital. Next. So I want all of you to read this verse. It says, you did not choose me. Okay? So I already told you I was not interested in medicine. So you may be wondering what I was interested in. Huh? So when I was in school, I studied in Madras Christian College Higher Secondary School here, MCC. Before that in Ewart School. Huh? So I became very fascinated with electronics engineering. So my grandfather had a lot of electronics equipment at home, and I constructed a lot of equipment. And in class 11 or 12, I had published an article in an electronics magazine. So I missed the IIT entrance now and got into Coimbatore Institute of Technology for my BE. But in those days, ragging was not banned. So I got severely beaten up and thrown out of the first floor of the hostel. So that is how I got into medicine. And also, I was not a very church-going sort of fellow. In my first year in MBBS, I attended a series of meetings here in Wesley Church, and I gave my life to Jesus Christ. So you did not choose me, huh? But I chose you. So a fellow who was not interested in Christianity, a fellow who was not interested in medicine, God sent him out as a medical missionary. Huh? And appointed you. Appointed you means what? Given a job. I have given you a job. I am sending you to a people. Huh? So there is a problem in this place. I want you to go there and take care of it. So that is what it means. I am appointing you. So that you might go and bear fruit. What type of fruit? Eternal fruit. So in that place there will be a change which will be eternal. And you will be my instrument in that place. Huh? You will not me, all of you. So you will be sent as instruments like that. So that whatever you ask in my name, the Father will give you. So normally we go to one hospital and then we start asking, please send some more doctors, please send some more money, I want this machine, I want that machine. Huh? But that is not what is written here. We are asking God for wisdom. strength and encouragement to complete the work that has been given to us in that place. Okay? Right now you are all in medical college. Wisdom, strength, encouragement to be the best possible students in your college. Huh? Not only students, good Christians. So you will be an impact on your college, your patients, your classmates, your teachers. Then you will be shifted out of college to a place of work. And in that place also you must be wonderful people of God. Next. So I already told you I was very keen to be a cardiologist. How many of you in the third year, first clinical? Okay. So in Deepak Medical College, first clinical, we had grand rounds. No? Do you all have grand rounds? Whole unit will go behind the professor and they will keep one patient and they will look for some innocent fellow to harass. No? So they will ask the fellow to go and examine the patient and then make fun of them. So I was safely sitting in the back. One fellow pushed me. No? So immediately the professor said, very nice to have a volunteer. Please go and examine this patient. So I examined the patient and then I was about to present the case. So then he said, no, I don't want presentation. Tell me your diagnosis. So I told he has got mitral valve prolapse. So he said, diagnosis is correct, but I think you guessed. So you give me a 5 minutes talk. What is mitral valve prolapse? How does it present itself? What are the clinical findings? How do you manage it? So I told you already my method of study. So I was very well, had a good grasp of the subject. So I gave a 5-minute talk on mitral valve prolapse. So then he said, not only you got it correct, because you got the clinical findings correct, but you know about it. So maybe you should be a cardiologist. So from that date on, I wanted to be a cardiologist. So sometimes, many times, we want to be like somebody. We want to somebody who's you admire, or because somebody told something, but that may not be the need. Later on, I became a surgeon, but I always had my interest in cardiology, which was a great help later on. So I realized at the time they all told you have to go to USA, because in India cardiology was not well developed. Chennai city did not have a color Doppler machine. We had only black and white ultrasound. So I was planning to go to USA and be a cardiologist. And then one day I had a verse in the Bible. I had put it in the previous presentation. How many of you know Jeremiah 29:11? Everybody knows. How many of you know Jeremiah 29:12? Okay, so that day, one day I read Jeremiah 29:11 because it is such a comforting verse. I have good plans for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm. But that day I read 12 and 13, and you know what it says? When you have understood this, you will call upon me. You will seek me and you will find me because you will seek me with all your heart. So suddenly I realized I had made plans to go to the USA to be a cardiologist, and I am presenting my wishes to God and telling God to bless my plans. But I never asked God, what would you want me to do? So it says, I have wonderful plans for you, much better plans than being a cardiologist in the USA. Come and ask me, and I will tell you. So I started asking God, if you were in my body, controlling me, what would you do? And immediately I felt I should not go to USA. I am not needed there. I should not even be in Tamil Nadu. I am not needed here. Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Andhra, Telangana, Kerala are the best districts, states in the country. You should go to a place of need. So where exactly should I go? I got this formula. The potential for transformational impact of 1% is equal to the population of a place divided by number of other fellows like you in that place. That means go to a place where there are no doctors, no hospitals. So I started searching for a place like that. Next. So that is my wife and me. So within 1 year of our marriage, we got married in 91 and 92 we had gone to Assam. So that top daughter. Huh? So we spent 30 years in this hospital. Next. So that is the location, very close to Mizoram and Tripura. Next. I think all of you know Brahmaputra river. Huh? So that is in the northern part of Northeast India. The southern part has another river called the Barak River, and we were on the banks of this river. So the Brahmaputra valley is full of people speaking in Assamese speaking people. And the Barak River valley is full of people speaking in Bengali. So our place was a Bengali speaking place. Yes. So this was the hospital in 1992. So we made a 30-year commitment to this hospital. So why 30 years? Because we went there and we immediately understood that this is the place God wants us to be in. Because we wanted a thickly populated place, we wanted a place where there are no doctors. So there are no doctors for 100 to 200 kilometers. And we wanted a big campus. This place had 1,000 acres of land. So everything fitted perfectly. But this hospital was closed. It was a leprosy hospital, started in 1951, closed in 1981, and closed for previous 10 years. No money, no patients. The staff of the hospital, they had sold everything. They sold the generator, they sold the ambulance, they sold everything. So because there was no generator, there is no electricity. No money, lot of bill spending, and lot of violence. People are beating each other and all those things. So we were convinced that this is the correct place. So we went and told the leaders, we want to join. You help us, na? So they told, I don't think you will be able to stay here because I am from Chennai and she is from Madurai. Na? You're coming from a big city and this is a remote place. After 3 months, you will tell I can't handle it and I will go home. And after we have started helping you, if you leave, we cannot find another person to go there. Huh? So we are willing to employ you if you are willing to stay long term. So then I went and asked, what do you mean long term? How many years? So they said till I retire. Huh? So that was in 2022. So we made an agreement, not with understanding that we will stay for 30 years. And we stayed for a few months less than 30 years, 29 years, because our daughter had some difficulty with her class 12 exam, so we went a little early. Next. So every part of the country has some problem or other. Na? So Northeast India, very heavy rain. Na? So our friends are from Meghalaya. Meghalaya has the place with the highest rainfall in the world. No? So when there is rain, the hilly area, the rain water falls, but in the plains area it gets flooded. No? So in our place it gets flooded, and once it floods, 3 months everything is blocked. Road gets washed off. Next. So 1,700 trucks blocking the road, no? Both sides. So people start from home with obstructed labor. No? Mother having obstructed labor. They cannot go front or cannot go back. And the lady will die in the car with obstructed labor, ruptured uterus. And then they take her back. No? So that is the problem in Northeast India. Next. And you cannot simply go to the hospital. There is no buses, no train, only private taxi. But to get a taxi, you have to come to the road first. No? So you have to be carried for hours together, sometimes even a day. like this till you reach the road. Then you have to pay the 2,000, 3,000 rupees and get a taxi to go to that. Next. So this is the bus I told you about. Next. Next. So this is when we left Makunda. No? So 30 years later, Makunda is a 200-bed hospital, and we are seeing almost 7,000 deliveries, no? Which is a very large number for a small hospital. And for many years, my wife, who is an anesthesiologist, was also the obstetrician, managing all those deliveries. Now we have one obstetrician, and I was the surgeon managing all those surgeries. So it was a very busy hospital. Everybody, all the surgeries, all the cesarean sections are done by junior doctors. Huh? So if a junior doctor joins, in 2 years they will do 500 cesarean sections. They probably do more than what you do in MD and OG. Huh? Next. So that is our. I showed you those broken down buildings. Now they are all changed to new buildings. So we have a labor room where you can conduct 10 deliveries at the same time. Next. And we have a 3-section NICU where all types of complicated newborn babies can be managed. Next. So we made a 30-year plan. We're going to be here for 30 years now. So we made a 30-year plan. First 10 years to make it stable. Hospital has no money. We cannot pay salaries. There's no electricity. There's a fight all the time. Lot of legal problems. All these should be sorted out. So the first 10 years we were sorting out these problems, and during the time we came for higher studies. I did pediatric surgery, my wife did anesthesia. The second 10 years we wanted to start 3 or 4 big projects which will transform the community. So these projects should be completed by the time we leave, so that they are not a burden on the next set of leaders. No? The first project was the school. The children there were all dropping out of school. So we had a lot of Kasi children, no? Like Meghalaya children. So in many of the languages in Northeast, the text script is used as the English language. No? Mizo, Kasi, all use English script. But in the local school, it is Bengali. So all the children will drop out of school, and they'll be climbing trees and catching squirrels and all that. They don't study. So we thought if we start a school, it will transform the community. You know? The only problem is we had only 10,000 rupees. So 10,000 rupees we painted on old building, no? And converted it into kindergarten school, kindergarten class. So next year we need one classroom. Next year class 2 classroom. No? So today the school has 1,300 children up to class 12. And 5 of them are doing MBBS. No? They are all studying all over the country. Many are in Vellore, in Trichy, in Chennai. And then many of our school teachers, almost all our school teachers are former students. Many of our nurses are former school children. So it's transformed the community. And they are all getting good jobs. So the villages are also coming up. Next. The second, we wanted to start a school of nursing because many parts of Northeast India, the villages are so small and far apart that you cannot construct or run a hospital. You won't get enough patients. No? So we thought if we have nurses in the villages, they will manage and they can refer the patients who need hospitalization. So in 2006, we started a college, the School of Nursing, that is now being upgraded to a college. Next. And many parts of Northeast India are full of insurgents, no? Militants. So right now there's a big problem going on in Manipur. Kukis and Meiteis. So at that time, the big problem was in Tripura, close to our hospital. So you cannot travel in the road unless you go with the jeep with the machine gun on it. Huh? So 1,000 vehicles will go this side, 1,000 vehicles will come the other side. And only 2 times a day. So So if you are sick in the remaining part of the day, you cannot go. You have to wait for the next convoy. So during that time, we purchased land in the most militant infested part of Tripura and started a branch hospital there. So that was the third project. The three projects were started in 2005, 2004, 5, 6 and 7. Yes. And then we did have electricity for about 14 years. And then we were planning to start this DNB course. Huh? But then there was a problem. DNB selection is done centrally. We cannot choose the candidates. So we thought it's not a good idea. And we started training these people. They are doctors from Netherlands. So every 6 months, four Dutch doctors come to our hospital. They stay for 6 months. They get trained and then they write this MD Global Health and Tropical Medicine. Then they go and work in Africa, South America, and all the remote places. Next. The poor people, they come late for treatment. So this lady had one small mass in her abdomen. She went to a doctor. Doctor said, I will take it out. But the cost of surgery is equal to selling the house. Then they said, we will wait and see. Maybe it will get better. So after 6 months, again they went a little bigger. So he said, I can take it out, but there is free fluid. Huh? So maybe it is malignancy. So I can take it out, but whether it is cancer, I don't know. So then they decided we won't treat her, let her die. Because if you treat her, all the money is gone, house is gone, land is gone, everything is gone. Plus, she is also gone, no? Because if she dies, a complete loss. But if she dies, we have the money. So the husband will marry another lady. No? So that was the plan. But the problem is, she did not die. She became bigger and bigger. And finally, she could not sit or stand. So she came moaning and groaning. No? So I also didn't want to do anything for her. But we had a very persistent junior doctor. No? So he kept on pestering me to operate on this lady. So finally, we operated on her. She had a 35 kilogram ovarian tumor. So after the surgery, she developed pulmonary edema and had a stormy post-op, but then went home walking. But the biopsy was ovarian cancer. So I just put it to show that you will never see a patient like this in Tamil Nadu. Right? He will never become so big. So there are places in our country where we still have neglected diseases. Next. They come very late. They keep on hoping that things will get better. And people die in their young age of diarrhea, pneumonia, postpartum hemorrhage, tuberculosis, obstruction, intestinal obstruction. You should not die of these conditions. Huh? All completely treatable. Yes. Those days they used to pay with eggs and chicken and fish. Because a lot of them don't have cash. And only twice a week there will be bazaar, no, where they can sell their chicken. So if they come on another day, they simply bring the chicken and we get give a treatment. We'll exchange it for whatever they have. Next. So we developed many ways of making them poor friendly. We gave a lot of charity. Because we gave charity, we could not develop the hospital. No? So for 14 years, we lived in our homes without electricity. But in the hospital, we bought small generator. And we gave due. No? If people cannot pay, don't pay, come and pay later. But we realize these people don't come back. Because they are afraid that if you don't have the money to repay, then it will be very embarrassing. No? So we started writing off the dues. Every year, all the dues written off. And sometimes they sell the house and come. So we used to send our staff to recover the house. And sometimes they develop complication. So everything is given free. So all of these are, then we found out how poor people behave. Huh? The poor people, when they come to the hospital, their husband, wife and 2 children have come. They have 5,000 rupees. Our hospital Normal delivery is 5,000 rupees. Cesarean is 10,000 rupees. So when they go to the canteen and buy breakfast, lunch and dinner, 100 rupees. So 4 people means 400 rupees. So 5 days means 2,000 rupees for food. So first day they will buy 4 meals. Second day they will buy 1 meal and all 4 will share. Third day they will buy biscuit packet for the children. So we can find out who is poor by what they eat. So we give them charity before they go and sell the house. So anyway, all these things were studied by the Brockton School of Business in USA, and they published it. Next. So earlier we didn't have electricity, we didn't have oxygen also. So I am a surgeon, and then my wife did anesthesia. So how do you think you can manage without oxygen? Next. Next. So we were using this machine. It will be seen in the anesthesia museum. It was developed for World War II. It is a machine that uses ether and uses atmospheric air. It does not require oxygen, does not require electricity. So after my wife finished MD anesthesia, for 10 years we were giving anesthesia with this machine. With this we did thoracic surgeries, pediatric surgeries, all sorts of surgeries. So sometimes we think unless we have the latest equipment, I cannot work. But you have to learn to manage with that particular situation. If you go to some place in Africa, even this is not possible. Next. And that is my first patient with the tracheo-esophageal fistula. So, in the common type of tracheo-esophageal fistula, the trachea is the esophagus is blind ending, and the lower esophagus attaches to the trachea. So the baby is few hours old. You have to open the chest, push the pleura to one side, divide the azygos vein, detach the fistula, close the hole, and anastomose the two ends together. So after doing all these things, the baby cannot breathe because so much of dissection inside the chest. So for 4 days, the baby has to be ventilated. The baby cannot breathe on its own. The problem is we have no ventilator. So that is my wife with our elder daughter on her back. So she used to ventilate the babies for 4 days by hand. And next. So this is that baby, the previous one. So all these babies did well because they had a good ventilator. So not only she is ventilating, she is examining, she can see the color of the baby and the chest movement and all those things. So they were not allowed to die. So again, suppose I have gone to a place without ventilator, without all these facilities, I will say, I will not treat, refer the patient. Refer the patient and they will go home and die. They won't go to another hospital. Actually, when we went first to this hospital, we decided we won't do any surgeries. So we were only treating diarrhea and pneumonia and all that. So one day, one lady was brought with obstructed labor. So we referred her to government hospital 120 kilometers away, 5 hours by road. So the night we went to see the patient in the ward and this lady is still there. She is not gone. So we told you long back to go. If you stay here, you will die. We don't want you to die in our hospital. So please go now. So she told, see, middle of the night you are sending me out of this hospital. If you force me to leave, I will go to my village and die there. I am not going to that other hospital. So we went to the operation room and had a look. So there was some linen, the autoclave clothes, which have been autoclaved 10 years back. They were still inside the cover. And there was one expired bottle of Zalocare, Bignotin. And there was some old catgut. So we had two nurses holding kerosene lantern, and with that we did a cesarean on this lady under local infiltration, and the patient survived. So that was our first surgery. Next. This is our first pediatric surgery. This is from Meghalaya. So this baby was referred as intestinal obstruction, but we didn't have ultrasound. So we did a laparotomy and found the peritoneal cavity full of urine. So this lady baby has got a thing called posterior urethral valve with the rupture of a kidney. So we did urethrostomy, and later on we operated. That is the boy, the boy with the biscuit packet. So we met him last year. He is now 22 years old. So all of them were operated under very resource limited settings. So it is a greater professional challenge to manage with less. If you have everything and patient as well, as nothing great about it. But if you are in a place where you don't have any help, other departments are not there, equipment is not there, people are poor, and you still get good result, then that is because of God's grace. Next. This is one girl, 16-year-old girl, who came coughing out blood, half a bucket of blood. So we massive hemoptysis. So we did a CT scan. It was reported as hydrated cyst. So we operated with the TMO machine. But when we opened, it was not hydrated. It was a tumor in the lung. So we removed as much as possible. And then she refused surgery. It was a teratoma of the middle lobe. And 4 years later, she came back again with the hemoptysis. And then that time we removed the middle lobe teratoma. This was published in BMJ. Yes. And then in 2008, I developed MI. I had a heart attack. And streptokinase was not available in the hospital. So by the time I got it, it was too late. I had a 100% block of the left anterior descending. It was a thrombus. And my ejection fraction is only 35%. So you cannot do anything about it. The heart is already damaged. So they told me to go around and keep myself fit. So I started walking around the hospital and started photographing birds. Yes. This is my first publication. I got 16 publications on birds and spiders and beetles and on new species of moth. So all this happened because of the heart attack. So sometimes we wonder why we get all these bad experiences. But God never allows anything without permission. So a very wise and powerful and loving God allowed me to have my heart attack so that I will get interested in biodiversity documentation. Now I am one of the top fellows in some areas in India. Yes. Yes. So these are all various researches we did. So gastrospices. So those days we never used to treat all these patients. This is in CMC Vellore. So we developed this way of managing the patient till they can be operated. Means they can put the bowel back. So we did many of these in Makunda. I published it in 1999. Another surgery. Yes. So Makunda has a lot of thiamine deficiency. So we have cardiac periphery, infantile periphery, neuropathy, acidosis. So we discovered all this and many articles were published. Yes. Yes. So we got an award from CMC for lifetime achievement. But actually, all of us must be working for another award, which only God can give. Welcome back, good and faithful servant. You have done what I asked you to do. So if you examine your life today, from the time you are born till now, can you tell, I have done what you asked me to do? At least from now, till the time we are going to die, we should live for that. That must be our aspiration, my ambition, my goal in life, to be the person that I want, God wants us to be, so that when we die and go to heaven, we will get an award that nobody in the world can give, only God can give. Welcome back, good and faithful servant. Yes. So I told you about all these problems we had. I also developed leprosy. So that was a leprosy hospital. So I got it because my T cell function is low. So people get leprosy because their immunity is low, not because they are working. My wife was doing more leprosy work than me. But I got it, I got all sorts of reactions. And I'm not a lawyer or a finance expert, but I had to manage all that. And we didn't have people to relieve us. So if somebody is posted to our hospital, they will ask, what wrong have I done to be put to a useless place like that? So we could not get people from Vellore and Ludhiana. We got people from Northeast India. All our doctors, nurses were all from Manipur, Meghalaya. We used to go to the medical colleges and talk to the students and say, why don't you come and work with us for some time? The people come and work for 6 months. After that, they will say, my parents are not allowing me. They want me to join government service. So my wife and me will go to their house in Nagaland or wherever and tell them, your daughter is doing such a wonderful job. Will you not let her stay another 6 months? So they say, okay, let us stay another 6 months. So like that, we got people to come and join us. And God enabled us to overcome all these inconveniences. These problems are temporary, trivial inconveniences. I already told in the morning about other missionaries, where the whole family died. So we don't have problems like that. We have these sort of problems, which are not something worth talking about. Next. So this is called the multi-dimensional poverty index of India. So the green places are the rich places. So Tamil Nadu is 4.9. That means 4.9% of the population is multi-dimensionally poor. In Kerala it is 0.7. But in Bihar it is 51. And if you look at the number of doctors in per 1 lakh population, that will also be very similar to this. So it is very clear where we must go. So if God was in our body controlling us, He will tell, please go to all these red places, orange places, yellow places. That is where the need is. Those are the mission hospitals of India. So again you can see completely covered in Kerala, Tamil Nadu, all these Protestant mission hospitals. But in the needy places there is no hospital. And even the hospitals which are there are closed, sick. So that is the challenge before us. Next. So I think all of you know this verse. The first 3 chapters of Revelation is a story of the spirits going to the churches. So it is like God going and visiting each person. Then he makes an assessment, examines, and he makes a diagnosis. Everybody diagnoses. This is where you are. You have lost your first love. You are doing okay. So everybody diagnosis made. Now we have to treat. We have to solve our problems and become the people that He wants us to be. So after all the assessment is finished, in Revelation chapter 3 verse 20, God is saying, I stand at your door and knock. So I have already assessed you and I have told you where you stand. Now I am tapping at your heart. Will you open the door? Together, both of us will solve your problems and make you that fruitful person that you can be. Huh? So that is the invitation. So are you willing to take that invitation? Next. Next. So are we willing to take the road less traveled? So I'm sure all of you will be facing pressure to finish your post-graduation. So in the USA, no, people don't do post-graduation immediately. Many countries around the world, people take what they call as gap year. Huh? They finish undergraduation and they take one break to see the world around, to decide what should I be doing, what is it that interests me. Huh? So instead of that, you can ask yourself, what does God want me to do? Maybe you can spend that 1 year visiting, working in one mission hospital, huh? And asking, is this what you want me to do? And then ask God to help you to make the right decisions. If you are very adventurous, go abroad. Huh? Abroad means not to USA and the Middle East. Go to Africa. So I went to Uganda. So after going and visiting the hospital there, I thought, what a comfortable life I had in Assam. Huh? Because they were working in much more difficult situation than us. So there is great need in this world. Even in the cities, there is slums. Huh? In Chennai is full of slums. Who are the people in the slums? There are construction workers from Jharkhand. Huh? There are security people from Nepal. There are waitresses from Middle East, from Northeast. So these are all people not from Tamil Nadu. Huh? They are living in those slums. But we don't work for them. Huh? They don't have Tamil Nadu ration card, so they cannot get Tamil Nadu health benefits. Huh? So if you really want to work in a city, they may be the people God wants you to look after. Are we willing to take the road less traveled? Yes. So in our lifetime, we saw so much happen. We were privileged. Many missionaries went and spent the entire life, nothing happened. Huh? Then the next set of missionaries, and then also nothing happened. After 60 years, our missionary went and something happened. Some school was developed, hospital was developed. But for us, for me and my wife, during our lifetime, during our career, we saw so much of change. And it is not because of us. Huh? Our job was to do our work each day to the best of our ability. That's all. The fruit of our work is not in our hands. Huh? Our job is to trust and obey. The fruit of our work is God's responsibility. He is the one who makes it happen. Huh? And the other acknowledgement is for many people who came and worked with us. So why should they come? They could have easily got much better jobs. Work was very difficult, salaries were low, all sorts of problems. But they came and worked with us. So because of all these things, Makunda became what it is today. So I would like to invite all of you to consider at least part of your life to work in a place of need somewhere in this country. Yeah. Thank you.
I would reckon like a barren land, in which a barren land, God, who is the farmer, plants a seed, and that seed goes into plant and flourishes, and as in turn, it flourishes that whole land. And also, we see that God was with Sir in all his highs and lows. We can reckon it as a farmer nurturing the seed, tilting the ground in order to bring a more much fruit. So, with Romans 8:18, we see that. For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which will be revealed unto us. So we again thank you, sir, and we thank God for all the wonderful works God has done in Sir's life. So for the next session,
photo session we're going to have. So I request Elliot ma'am to come forward. Photo session.
share messages. Some of you can stand, boys can stand in the basic uniform. You have to come together with people.